What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bleav In Mavs with Mo Murphy. As always, I am your host, Mo Murphy, and this is a special episode today for the simple fact your 2024 Dallas Mavericks are headed to the NBA Finals. Shout out to Dallas, man. Dallas was able to handle business, win Game 5, and now Dallas is headed to the NBA Finals. So today's show is more so, let's just sink in the moment and enjoy the fact that the Dallas Mavericks are headed to the NBA Finals. Enjoy the fact that Luka and Kyrie did exactly what they were supposed to do in Game 5 and then some. We're going to talk about how Luka came out. You could tell that Luka refused to lose this game. Like, if there was anybody that wasn't going to lose this game, it was Luka Doncic. And obviously, he made a statement right out the gate in Game 5. There's so many things going on, but I do want to let y'all know this is more going to be, let's just celebrate the fact that the Dallas Mavericks are in the NBA Finals, talk about a little bit of things that happened throughout the playoffs that got the Dallas Mavericks here. Obviously, you keep talking about the trade deadline and the addition of Kyrie. Like, that's pretty obvious, but just some of the path that came through here. All throughout the week leading up to June 6th, leading up to the NBA Finals, I got a bunch of Mavs content creators planning on coming on throughout the weekend, leading up to June 6th, and all throughout the NBA Finals. So you will hear from a lot of people within the Mavs content space that will be on this show discussing what it's going to take for the Dallas Mavericks to ultimately end up winning the championship, beating the Boston Celtics, and winning the NBA Finals. But man, let me tell y'all this. I tried to tell y'all after Game 4, wasn't nobody worried about Minnesota. And Kyrie said it best. Now, I know leading into Game 4 and then after the result of Game 4, what Kyrie said you didn't want, it didn't sound right. Like, it didn't sound as good because Kyrie was like, this is just another game to us. This is their Super Bowl. And so when they won, there was a lot of momentum coming from the Minnesota side. There was a little bit of panics from some people on the Dallas side. So, I mean, you just woke up the next morning and it was like, if there's a team that could come back down 3-0, I mean, we almost saw it with Boston against Miami last year. I think this one win for Minnesota is going to get them going in the right direction. You know, up until that point, every game combined was decided by 18 points. Anthony Edwards played good. It looked like they're clicking on offense. Everybody gave me every reason why the Dallas Mavericks were not going to win Game 5 and basically were going to get blown out the water in Minnesota and had to be hopeful that they could come home and handle business. Well, Luka Doncic had other plans. And he told us that right out the gate. Luka had other plans. Luka came out, hit threes from the parking lot. Right out the gate, step back three on Anthony Edwards, wide open three from the parking lot, gets to the bucket, little mid-range jump shot. Luka got to 20 before Minnesota did. Luka came to make a statement. As soon as he started hitting them shots early in the game, he barking at the crowd. And I don't know if everybody else know what that means, but we know when Luka get to barking at the crowd, Luka's going to get going. Luka going to have an absolutely amazing game. Luka going to make sure at the very least, we know Luka going to do what he got to do to win this game. And so did everybody else, including Kyrie. This duo of Luka and Kyrie has been absolutely amazing. It's been the yin to the yang. They fit perfect. They figured it out. And they don't have to both have amazing all nights offensively to win games. They showed you that. Luka can play great offensively from a scoring standpoint, while Kyrie Irving can play great from, a running the offense from a more traditional point guard standpoint, play defense, take the defensive assignments. They win that way. They've won 3 of these. They had 3 games in this series where Kyrie and Luka both went for 30 plus. So they also showed as a duo, we could be just as lethal as everybody projects us to be, as everybody sees us as our best. As a duo, we could be that lethal offensively, scoring at the same time. And you saw it in Game 5. Luka got going. Luka refused to lose. And Kyrie just came out and played like Kyrie. Like, it was just, he played Kyrie basketball and he matched Luka's energy and was like, we going to get Minnesota up off the floor. This game was over by the middle of the second quarter. You could tell, like, Minnesota was, it was almost embarrassing. I almost felt bad for Minnesota. Like, in a sense, I almost felt bad. Like, and I didn't feel bad for the fans. People were trying to tell me, like, oh, Dallas should be worried. All day leading up to Game 5, it's like, oh, Dallas is going to get blown out. They better hope they can win in 6. Like, that was the narrative all day leading up to Game 5. I tried to tell y'all that was, and so what Kyrie had said came back full circle, and he was right. this was just a game for us. Not just a game. We know what it means. And had they won game 4, they know they would have swept Minnesota and went on to the NBA Finals. But they're not treating being up 3-0 any differently than being 0-0, down 0-1, down 0-2, tied 2-2, whatever it may be. This is a game. We got to play basketball. We got to win. That's more so what Kyrie meant. It's like, man, I'm not looking at it as any other thing other than a basketball game. And I'm going to do what I got to do to try and win this game. All we got to do, all we're focused on is playing basketball and getting the victory. We're not worried about the antics or the storylines or what it means, what kind of pressure it is for us to try and close it out. Are we worried about Minnesota coming back down 3-0 if they're able to get a victory tonight? That was their Super Bowl, though. Like, and they came out, and it's like, I don't want to say they did come out flat, but like, how much of that had to do with, I think people are saying, well, it was more so on Minnesota and how the way they came out and they weren't ready to play. But like, I think Minnesota was ready to play. How demoralizing is it, though, that you're ready to play, you have a slow start, and Luka goes absolutely insane in that process? Now you're having to dig yourself out of a hole. It's a different type of energy now. Luka's going, you're trying to get yourself going offensively when you're Minnesota while Luka's over there cooking. And if he continues to cook, I mean, Luka looked like he was on pace. He was going to score 50 or 60. Like, that's what it looked like coming out the first quarter. It was like 3.5 minutes left. Luka already got 20. So it looked like, you know what I'm saying, Luka Doncic was going to cook the hell out of Minnesota. And so I think it was more so they came out a little slow, but Dallas took advantage of it. And so I think that's where people aren't giving the Mavericks enough credit for what they did in game 5. It's more about, oh, well, you know, Minnesota came out slow. I thought they were going to blow Minnesota. I mean, I thought they were going to blow Dallas out. So therefore, like, the way they came out wasn't what I expected. It's unexplainable. It's embarrassing. I don't know what to say. Yes, everybody was at a loss for words because for some reason, up to this point, people still didn't, no pun intended, believe in the Mavs. And now the Mavs are in the NBA Finals in blowout fashion. And don't let the score of 124 to 103, don't let that be the telling of actually what went down in those 48 minutes, because Dallas beat the brakes out of Minnesota from tip-off through 4 quarters. And like, yeah, they let their foot off the gas a little bit. Jason Kidd didn't call the dogs out until Chris Finch called his off. He kept Kyrie, he kept Luka, Derrick Jones Jr., P.J. Washington. He might have rotated like Gafford, Lively, and Kleber throughout that, but he kept the dogs in until Chris Finch was going to wave the white flag and concede defeat. Jason Kidd wasn't going to wave the white flag and accept victory. And that's what I love, is like, you know what? This is a closeout game. We're not going to give Minnesota any type of momentum in this 4th quarter to capitalize on, and then I have to put Kyrie and Luka back in the game to kind of save, and Minnesota might already have momentum. Now it makes it tougher. I know Kyrie and Luka can do it, but now, like, okay, they have the momentum. It's the home. It's a little bit harder to establish momentum when you got Minnesota going and trying to come back and basically save their season. So Jason Kidd was like, until he calls the dogs off, I'm not calling them off. They called him off about, 3 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes left in the game. That's finally when Chris Finch called that timeout after that Derek Lively dunk. I guess if you want to call it the dagger dunk, I mean, it took the air out of the stadium, like it took the air out of the arena. So like that dunk that Lively had was like the stamp on, like, yeah, go ahead and pull your starters, big dog. Like, this game over. Like, if you didn't think anything leading up to this, this emphatic dunk that's gonna make you cause a timeout. Yeah, hey, leave Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. When you call that timeout, leave all them on the bench. Leave Mike Conley on the bench. Bring in the guys that ain't played this whole series. Let them play, man. It's 3 minutes left. Don't even, just accept it. And that's what happened. And so, like, I guess you could call it the emphatic dunk. And it was nice. Don't get me wrong. Luka gets to the hole. Boom, kind of has them thinking he's going up for a layup. Lively from the dunker spot, cuts to the basket. Luka drops it off to him. Boom, major dunk. And it was amazing coming from Derek Lively, because he also, Naz Reid, for whatever reason, decided to take that hit on Derek Lively's head. And obviously he had a neck sprain coming out of game 4, was able to play game 5. I told y'all, like, Derek Lively plays game 4, this series would have been over. I'm not saying Derek Lively's the reason why they won by, 21 points or was up by 40 at one point. But yes, he had a lot to do with it. And then he comes back and everything flows defensively. Karl Anthony Towns ain't never able to get in a rhythm, like, offensively, because of Derek Lively and the defense. They have to respect the pick and roll a lot different. They got to respect the guy in the dunker spot a lot different, because that's what Derek Lively is. Him in the pick and roll with Luka and Kyrie Irving, or him out of the dunker spot when Luka or Kyrie are driving, are able to throw that alley or drop it off when the big man like Rudy Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns steps up to put a hand in Kyrie and Luka's face. They drop it off to Derek Lively behind the defense. Boom, dunk. That's the bread and butter of Dallas's offense, and that part got taken away. And more so, I think it was harder to lean on Kyrie Irving and Luka because you took an aspect offensively that makes what they do completely offensively so dangerous, because that threat of Lively in the dunker spot, that threat of Lively off the pick and roll, and what Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving could do with PJ Washington in a corner, maybe Derrick Jones Jr. in a corner, ready to catch and shoot a three. Like, some of that got taken away and made it a little bit harder, because I don't think Gafford, as much as I love Gafford, and Gafford has played well, we can pick apart and just talk about some of the mistakes Gafford made, but hey, man, they're headed to the finals, and he contributed. He played really well. He's just not as effective for that role as Derek Lively, and that's okay. Everybody has a role. Gafford has a role on this team. It's not like I'm saying, Gafford's not important with him and without Lively, we can't win this thing. No, Gafford has a role. Just that's Lively's role, and Lively's role is a very important piece to the offense. And I know it's hard to grasp that, like, a rookie center is so important to what a Luka Doncic superstar, best player in the damn league, and a Kyrie Irving can do. Man, a rookie has that kind of impact. But yes, when you have a center that can pick and roll and play in the dunker spot with guys that can get to their spots whenever they want, and so you always have that threat. So it's harder to step up on Luka. You're basically gambling. Should I give Luka the floater, or should I give Derek Lively the dunk at the dunker spot? Does somebody have there's so many things you have to keep up with when Derek Lively is on that floor. And PJ Washington Jones Jr. in the corners ready to catch and shoot threes. Don't let them be hitting. Maxi Kleber played well in game 5. I know this seems like we're all over the place, but sink in the damn moment, because the Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. It's that exciting. First time back to the NBA Finals since 2011. What more could you ask for as a Dallas Mavericks fan? And so, like I said, throughout the week, we'll talk about the matchup against Boston. Precursor, I'm taking Mavs in 6. All right, I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm taking the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA championship. Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Jason Kidd, and company are going to bring home the Larry O'Brien trophy in 6. Respectively, they are going to bring it home in Dallas in game 6. We're not going back to Boston. We're going to end this in game 6. We're going to be up 3-2, and we're going to handle business. And we're going to bring this championship while we're at home. We're not going to do it on the road and then have to come home and celebrate. Nah, we're going to do it at home. We're going to celebrate that night, and we're going to celebrate over the next few days. And we're going to have a parade down there in downtown Dallas or somewhere in Arlington. Best believe I'm going to be there. I promise you, Dallas Mavericks win the NBA Finals. I'm going to be at the parade. So there's a lot of moving parts for that series. But like I said, I have so many Mavs content creators that are going to be joining the show throughout the week. Already got them lined up, set up, ready to go. They're going to be joining the show all week to discuss this Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics series. But, man, like, you got to be excited, like, through it all. They said this duo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic would never work. This is a team that acquired Kyrie Irving at the trade deadline, close to the trade deadline last year, and then misses the playoffs. Essentially sits Luka and Kyrie the last few games to get that 10th pick. Turns out to be Derek Lively. So, like, in hindsight, everybody could be upset. They're in the finals. They proved all the naysayers wrong, and so everything they did, it was like a method to their madness. Obviously, adding Gafford and adding PJ Washington. And I want to talk about something that's funny. Like, so PJ Washington was on Instagram Live during their celebration after winning the Western Conference Finals. And Tyler Hero goes, dang, you really went from the bottom to the NBA Finals. Like, basically, you really made it. Like, and him and Daniel Gafford, two of the worst teams, went from two of the worst teams in the league, I think the two worst teams in the league, to ultimately going to the NBA Finals by being traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So I know for PJ Washington, it's been a great feeling coming back home, hooping, standing on business, and helping lead this charge for the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals. I know for Daniel Gafford to prove, because I felt like he was a piece that a lot of teams would have liked out of Washington. Like, I'm always one of those guys, like, some of those bad teams have valuable pieces on winning teams. Like, just because these guys are playing losing basketball over there doesn't mean they can't contribute to winning. Guys' roles look a lot different when they contribute to winning basketball. And you see that with Gafford. You see that with PJ Washington. It's a lot different over there. It's a lot different in Dallas than it was in Charlotte. It's a lot different in Dallas than it was in Washington. And this team is a family. And so this team is going to fight like hell, like a family. You could tell they all feel like they're brothers. You could tell they all got each other's back. I mean, it's almost speechless, man. Like the Dallas Mavericks are in the NBA Finals. So I know I did a lot of ranting and raving. I know kind of to talk a lot about nothing, but this is a celebratory episode. The day after the Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. And once again, like I said, I'm gonna have content creators on throughout the week. We are going to discuss in grave detail from Mavs Chronicle film breakdown with my guy Jericho. He's gonna break down the film aspect and the things they expect to try and maybe get Jason Kidd's attention against the Boston Celtics. We got a few other people that's gonna jump up on here. I don't want to give away all the guests, but we got a few other people that are gonna jump up. Well-known Mavs content creators. So trust and Bleav we are going to be covering this NBA Finals after this episode, but before we go out, I would love everybody to please rate, review, and subscribe to Bleav In Mavs anywhere you get. Listen to your Bleav In Mavs podcast or also on YouTube. That's BLEAV in Mavs. Anywhere you get your podcast or also Bleav In Mavs on YouTube. It's all one together. Please make sure you share, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on Apple, leave a review on Spotify. Don't leave me anything less than 5 stars, baby. Come on. Like, if I'm going to keep doing this for you, don't leave me less than 5 stars, baby. But yeah, can you please rate, review anywhere you listen, decide to listen, or intend to listen in the future to Bleav In Mavs? Please rate, review, respond, subscribe. Let me know. Hit me up in my DMs at Bo_Cheese15. If you have any ideas how to make this Bleav In Mavs show better, if you would like to be a guest on the Bleav In Mavs while we about to head to the NBA Finals, hit me up, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, Up in Flames Pod on Instagram. So make sure you reach out to me if you have any inquiries about, joining the show throughout the week. If you want to be one of those people that get on Bleav In Mavs, we talking Mavericks all week. That's what we doing. We talking Mavs versus Celtics and why we going to win this championship all week. On that note, be well, be safe, and we will catch you on another episode of Bleav In Mavs.